All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Players and Creators. Thank you for being so patient with us. We had a number of technical difficulties, and if you're familiar with us in the stream, you know that that is unfortunately a normal thing. But also, if you are a streamer or have seen any kind of streaming, you know that that's something you just have to unfortunately deal with from time to time. But again, thank you so much for being patient with us. I'm the DM. With me, as always, are my amazing players. We are going to actually, normally we have a number of announcements, but I'm just going to skip those because you've been waiting so patiently anyway to watch us play. And we're just going to kind of get down into the nitty gritty and start playing. All right. So, with that, let us just jump right into the game. All right. So last time we got together, you had escaped a number of individuals. You had made You had made camp in what you felt were some semi safe locations, and began to decide what your next steps and your next moves were going to be. You decided that you were going to stop traveling through the dense forests, trying to make your way towards the city of Zadash, and actually, detour back onto the main road. Uh, because you did realize that moving forward, the way you were through the dense forest, you were traveling a lot slower than you normally do. Um, as you were making your way to the main road, you had detoured a number of miles away from the main road. But on making your way there, you did come across a waterfall running into a strange river that seemed to end yet continue into solid rock. Trying to figure your way out across this river, you some of you decided to make some ingenious methods of uh, basically pushing a tree to an outcropping of rocks in the middle of the river. Squall decided he was going to levitate and have folks push him along. Rowan turned herself into a horse, trying to ford her way across, almost being pushed further downriver. Thankfully, not. But a number of you made your way to this outcropping before the force of the river pushed the tree further down, leaving Sora and her direwolf mount Cerberus alone on one end of the bank, where Galen had he had scouted forward ahead of the group, actually scaling the rocks and moving across, and found himself hiding from two large creatures. Unsure what those creatures are, but who seem to have made the other side of this river and this actual outcropping of small water that collects in the area, a place where these creatures seem to come to drink normally. Um, the other interesting thing I unfortunately left out was before you actually made it to this river, you spent half a session fighting a necklace. Um, Classic D&D. So that was interesting. Anybody who missed that, you really should see the VOD for this. You can go to our YouTube to catch that. Um, uh, yeah, it was interesting. Actually, it should still be on Twitch as well. So you can catch last week's and figure out what it actually means to fight a necklace for half a session. Um, but you are currently some of you are currently in the middle of this river. Uh, Galen is on the other side, hiding and cowering from these two massive creatures. And Sora and Cerberus are on the other side, trying to
I
figure out
believe
what to do.
I believe Cerberus is actually on the rocks with the rest of the crew.
Oh, yeah, no, you are correct. You're correct. So Sora is
I'm
by herself.
alone.
Sora is by herself on the other side of this river. So, yeah, and that is where we left off. So, let me actually pull up the map so everyone can see what's going on. All right, yeah, so here we are. Here's the map. As we can see, we have Sora by herself on the side of the side of the banks. You have Galen hiding in this area from these two massive creatures on the other side, who currently one is drinking and the other seems to be sniffing around. But you also have a horse on top, like who had landed on Squall. And so currently, Squall, you are prone and considered grappled until such time as there is no longer a horse on you. And literally as you look around the group on the outcropping, as you look around, there's no, like, you have taken up all of the room on this outcropping. You're being splashed by the water that is breaking against these rocks. You are all beginning to get soaked from the water. What would you all like to do?
I'm still levitating, so I'm gonna take my rope out of my pack and see if I can't get it over to. Oh no, Cerberus took my rope.
Yep,
Shoot.
Cerberus has the rope. Like a good doggy, Cerberus took the rope as you instructed and ran. Unfortunately, your animal handling check was not high enough to confer that Cerberus should wait until you grab the other side of the rope.
Yes. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for. So, what's the plan, folks? What's going on? What are you doing?
Can I jump off the rock using feline agility?
All right, sure, you can do that. I don't see why not. You can certainly try.
Is there anything nearby to touch down on?
Well, from where you are, currently, it's about 15 to 20 feet from this outcropping of rock. So you would have to try. You'd actually have to make that. Let's take a look at feline agility. So as a tabaxi, let's see now. When you move your turn in combat. So unfortunately, it's not an ability you can use currently, as you are not in combat. You are just trying to traverse across a rapidly moving river. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have pretty good acrobatics. Can I try something like that?
Do you want? You can try anything you'd like, but we'll have to see what the dice say, essentially.
Okay.
So you want to try? So what is it exactly that you want to try?
I want to try to leap from the cropping that we're on and get as close to the shore as possible. Or at least as close to the shallows.
Okay, so I will say, yeah, make a. This is not going to be acrobatics. This is going to be more athletics, because you are literally from a standing position. You are trying to jump across this river, and that's going to take a lot of strength for you to do that. So that'll be an athletics check, and that's going to be a pretty high DC. So go ahead.
My athletics is +7.
Okay. So go ahead, give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
I rolled a digital dice, 18.
18. Is that adding on your athletics?
Yeah.
Okay. You make it about 10 feet, and I'll actually put you where you go. You make it. You make it right here. As you leap off of this rock and jump as far as you can, uh, much of while you were on this rock, and the same goes for everybody who's currently on this outcropping. You can see it's very difficult to see much on the other side of the riverbank, only because the water is consistently hitting the sides of the rocks on both sides of the banks, making a spray that makes it very difficult to see. Um, but you can get a general idea of what it looks like and where the boundaries are. Leah, you jump, and as you jump, you are literally jumping into some of the spray. And as you land in the water, as you're coming down, you immediately see that you're still going to be in the water, and you're like, "Oh no!" And you hit the water. And as you hit the water, your feet go in just up to the knees. So you do take 6 bludgeoning damage, as you were unprepared for just how shallow the water really was. So you land, and much like not to be a felinist, you do land on your feet, um, like other felines do on occasion. However, you were not prepared for how shallow it was, and you take some damage. You can feel the pain in your shins, and you're like, I'm gonna feel that in the morning. But you do land, and thankfully you are close enough to the shore that much of the running rapids are not affecting you, and uh, you still have 15 more feet of movement. Um, but while you are now where you're standing, you can clearly see these two massive creatures kind of hunched over the water. Um, and one is drinking, and the other has its head faced away from you, sniffing the air. I need you to make a stealth check for me, please.
13.
13. Okay. Okay, as you kind of get up and you see this, and you try to actually you start to crouch to try and kind of lower your body, and possibly even use some of the foam of the water to kind of maybe conceal yourself slightly. The one that has its head lifted to the air and is sniffing, suddenly the head shifts in your direction, and it just and it begins to cross through the water in your direction. You're unsure if it's actually picked up your scent or if it actually sees you. But it's not moving quickly, but it is definitely moving with purpose.
What?
Galen sees this, right?
Well, you are hiding behind some rocks. If you would like to see it, you could make a perception check.
I'll do that.
But I will also need you to roll another stealth check as well.
Oh, I don't plan on stealthing for what I'm about. If I see what's going on.
Okay.
I'm blind as a bat. That's that's an 8.
8? Yeah. Even though you're in the shallow water and hiding behind these rocks, the spray just keep going in your face, and you're just occasionally you're just kind of like just trying to wipe the water out of your eyes, but it's impeding your vision, and you don't see what's going on. So you have no idea that Leah has just jumped over. You have no idea that this creature is moving forward. You still do know that those two creatures are there, but you're hiding in such a way that if you stick your head out, they're gonna see you. So you did try to stick your head up, though. I still need a stealth check from you.
Yeah. 16.
16. Okay. All right. So next, all right. So that's happening. Leah, what did you want to do as you can now see that this large lumbering creature is making its way in your general direction? What would you like to do?
Do I still have enough movement to try to make it to the shore?
You have 15 feet more of movement.
I'd like to take that 15 feet of movement and head to the shore in a direction that is as far away from the owlbear as possible.
All right. Well, you don't know it's an owlbear yet. So that's out of game. Yeah, you might know, but in game, you have no idea what this thing is. It is just all you see is this massive looming creature just coming towards you. So you can put yourself anywhere that 15 feet from where you think you'd like to be.
Is that 15 feet or is that too far?
That is that's 15 feet. You could have made your way that way. Yeah. No problem. Alrighty. So you move that way. As you move, the creature now seems to be getting a little more agitated, as if your movement has kind of informed it a little, where you are. And it does continue. It continues to move in the direction it initially was, and begins to sniff more aggressively. But that's what it's going to do at the moment. All right, so that's all of your movement there. All right, back to team outcropping. All right. So what would you like to do? Let's see. You have Jarina. You have Maya. Rowan is still a horse on top of Squall. Squall, technically, you still do have Levitate active, but it's not really doing you much good as you are pinned to the rock by Horsebutt. So just to inform you, so what would you like to do? Group outcropping.
I'd like
Get
to
off
stand up.
of me, you animal.
I'd like to stand up very carefully, and then I'm gonna sniff Squall's face to make sure he's okay.
Okay. With Leah gone from the rock, it makes it slightly easier for you to maneuver. It's not great. Again, you're a horse, and horses are not known to be very dexterous on wet rocks. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please, as your horse.
Can I assist her by trying to just shove her off?
Sure, yeah. You have advantage on this because Squall is pushing you off of him. Not overly aggressive, but definitely in a helpful get off me way. Was that 15? All right, yeah. So that's enough. Thankfully, with Squall's awkward assisted pushing, you are able to maneuver your way into the space that Leah left without slipping and falling. Occasionally, a hoof will catch, a wet moss rock, and you kind of catch yourself very quickly, and you're able to get yourself steadied. Squall, you can get up if you like.
I'd like to attempt, to again use my levitation to kind of push off the rocks to get to the other side at this point.
Okay. That you can absolutely try that. Everybody on the rock, make a perception check for me, please.
Not me.
All right. So, what do we got? Jarina, what do you got?
5.
Nice. Squall?
Yeah, 5.
Alrighty. Rowan.
20, not natural.
Okay. All right. So Squall, you get
I'm
up.
on the rock too.
Oh, that's right. You are on the rock. Phoebe, what'd you get?
19, not nat.
Phoebe, okay. So Phoebe and Rowan, you're the only ones that actually see this. Squall gets up. He begins to kind of position himself towards the utmost side of the rock to kind of. You see him preparing to kind of push himself off. And as he does this, Rowan and Phoebe, you see coming out of the foam of the water on the opposite side of the bank where you are trying to get to, this massive shadow just coming to the edge of that bank in the direction that you saw Leah jump. Once Leah jumped, she just disappeared into the foam of the water. And you assume that she crossed without any issue. But now you see this large, massive, you can't make out any details, but it is huge. It's maybe 7.5 to 8 feet tall that you can see. It's very, very wide, and you can just see the outline of it through the foam. But clearly, Squall and Jarina have no idea that this is a thing. They don't see this at all. So Squall, I'm sorry?
I let out a high-pitched whinny to warn my friends.
Okay.
Very high.
Okay. I will say, Jarina and Squall, you are. This would be. Roll an animal handling check for me for understanding horse behaviors.
I would like to just completely disregard her.
Okay. All right.
At this point, I'm too frustrated that the horse was on me. There is nothing a horse will tell me now that'll be helpful to me.
Okay, sure. All right. So, Squall, I need you, as you are preparing to push yourself off, to roll an athletics check for me to see if you can actually push yourself hard enough to get across.
12.
12. All right. So what happens is, all right. So you move, you make your way over to this area, kind of where Jarina is. You squeeze past. Both her and Maya move that way, and you kind of like, essentially, you just kind of like kneel, like butt out, like facing the way you want to go, and you just grab onto the side, and you go to push yourself off, and as you push, your hands slip on the wet rock, and unfortunately, it was not enough force, so you actually wind up here. Thankfully, you are still levitating, but you are just kind of hovering above the water. How long does your levitation last, by the way?
I believe it's an hour.
Okay. All right.
This wasn't an hour's long time on.
Oh no, no, no.
the-
I'm just double checking. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
When this happens, I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna yell loudly to like what I see in the distance should be Galen to somebody give me a hand and try to maybe extend,
Okay.
since I'm like kind of almost there.
Okay. So, levitation lasts 10 minutes.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are at, thankfully, you are at about maybe the 5 minute mark since you actually put it on. So you feel like you're okay.
Okay.
But as you yell this out, you immediately hear, and you kind of jerk yourself, so you kind of spin around to see where this is coming from, clearly coming from the other side, and you watch as this massive shadow, which you did not notice before, now becomes a little clearer as it comes out of the mist of the foam of the water, and you
Mhm.
see what you could only describe as what looks like at first glance you think it's a bear, and you're like, "Holy shit, a bear!" But then you see the face, and it looks there is this large kind of orangish yellow beak with these very very avian looking eyes just staring at you, and where there should be coarse hair, there are these massive feathers that seem to be draped in coarse hair. And it is now just kind of pawing at the water and like splashing the water in a very aggressive way in your direction. And it is just now completely focused on you. Um, it is 10 feet away from you, but you feel like at this moment you think you're pretty safe. You're hovering over the water. You're not at the bank where it is, and it's not moving towards you. But this is happening right now, and this thing looks terrifying.
Okay. Heard. Uh. Okay. Uh.
Can I reach
I'm
him?
gonna. Okay. In I guess shock and panic.
Hmm.
I'm gonna break my levitation concentration,
Okay.
and as I'm falling, I want to I want to cast my echo onto the land and then swap places with it.
Okay. Okay. This is interesting. This will be interesting. All right. So. All right. So you're gonna break concentration on your levitation. So the first thing that'll happen is yes, you begin to fall into the water. Um, as you fall into the water, immediately you realize how strong the current really is. You're watching the water rush under you, and it seems like it's pretty strong, but it is very very strong, and it begins to push you. I need you to make a wisdom check for me, and this is going to determine if you're able to concentrate well enough to actually get the echo cast and where you want it cast. Because right now, you are being pushed along very, very quickly, and the water's in your face. What'd you get?
4.
So you go to attempt uh, to cast it, and then immediately just water just hits you in the face at such a strength, you can't concentrate. You're having a hard time concentrating and getting across this river, and even casting your echo. So you get pushed 15 feet that way in 6 seconds.
Wow.
Is there any way I can reach him with my horsey teeth? Like, grab his cloak or something?
He's well outside of your horsey range. Your basically your melee range. It would have to be 5 feet, and he is about 10 feet out already into the water. So you could try something if you like, but what I want to do right now is, because a lot of things are happening at the same time, I'm going to need everybody to roll initiative for me, so we can kind of do this in an orderly fashion, as there are a bunch of interesting things happening at the same time.
That's when I fucking.
So yeah, everybody roll initiative. I'll get those numbers from you in a moment.
That's weird. I rolled initiative. The dice said 13, but the roll says 6.
Do you have bonus on your initiative?
Yeah, but the dice when they sat said 13.
Yeah,
And
it shows 6.
yeah,
What is your dexterity modifier? If it's a minus, it will minus things.
no,
It's
it's
+1.
+1.
It could just be a glitch because it's physics based, so maybe it's like cocked but in digital form.
Yeah, that's
I
possible.
gotcha.
All right. So, all right, lots happening.
I don't like these digital dice.
Crossing a river. Who would have thought that would have been such a chore?
We're gonna lose our entire. We're gonna have a TPK from this damn river, aren't we?
Please don't curse us.
That's entirely up to you guys. All right. So initiative. Jarena, what'd you get?
20 not natural.
Alrighty. Galen.
23.
All right. Leah.
21 total.
Okay. Squall.
19.
18. Nice. Rowan.
12.
Okay. Phoebe.
Prepare for my lowest. 9.
All right. Sora.
Says 6, so I guess it's 6.
Well, you can, if it's cocked, you can roll it again. That's fine.
Well, I don't know if it was cocked. That's what I'm.
Well,
yeah.
if it rolled a 13 and then it's saying 6, there's definitely something wrong. So just roll it again.
It says 15.
Okay. Alrighty. And alrighty. So, at the top of the round, with all of these things happening, Galen, you are at the top of the order. What would you like to do in this current situation?
I'm sure with even the lowest of rolls, I heard everybody screaming, right? And then one of the creatures roaring, right?
Nobody's screaming. You did hear Squall like yelling, "Somebody help me!" You did hear the creature kind of, start growling aggressively, but that's about all you heard. So
Yeah.
you are still stealth. You can break your stealth to do something if you like.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get up and look at the situation real quick.
Okay, you get up, and immediately you see Leah just kind of. She's like 10 feet away from you. Leah, you watch as Galen just pops up in front of you. Completely didn't see him. You see Squall in the river, starting to he looks like he's trying to do something, but he's just being carried away by the water. And you can see one of the creatures at the bank just growling and carrying on aggressively in Squall's direction. What would you like to do?
Leah, I'll get Squall. Try to distract those things. And then I immediately,
Hmm.
I'm going to try and catch Squall. I'm not going to swim. I'm just going to go to the rocks and see if I can like get my hand out. Or
The rocks were 20 feet up,
hmm.
so you would not be able to reach them by hand if you wanted to
Well,
do that.
I wanted to climb up and then climb down a little to as close as possible. Maybe even use my quarterstaff to kind of like reach towards where Squall might be.
Okay, you are the only one of the group that knows exactly where this water is going.
Yes, I know.
And the you can do it. It's going to be so yes, you can do that. It's going to be. I'm going to need a couple of rolls from you, considering what's going on.
I'm sure.
So where put yourself on the map where you want to be.
Right around there.
Oh, okay.
Like
S- How
a
are
little
you?
bit down,
So
but
how are you getting there? Is my first question.
um let
Are,
me
are
bring
you
myself
are you
back.
jumping in the water and swimming there and then climbing, or are you climbing the rocks and coming down that way?
I feel like climbing the rocks would take too long, so I'm gonna quickly swim and try to brace myself onto the rocks.
All right. So the first thing I need you to do is make me an athletics check because you are fighting the force of this water.
That's a goddamn 9. I'm gonna die, aren't I?
Leah, you watch as Galen jumps into the water, is trying to hold on to the side of the rocks, and is pulled under and immediately disappears. We're going to get back to you, Galen. Um, all right. Let's see now. That is
Good,
Galen's turn.
good thing I have other characters.
Alrighty. Leah, it is now your turn.
Is it possible for me to lower my rope to try to help Galen?
You have no idea. As far as you know, Leah, you just saw him go under the water and he just disappeared. You're not sure if he's caught under the water. You don't know what Galen found out about the water last week. He didn't tell anybody. Nobody knows that there's actually space where this water is disappearing into. So, from your perspective, he just looked like he went under and he's not coming up for some reason.
I'd like to go over and investigate where he went over to try to see what he saw and see if I can help.
Okay. All right. Put your right about here is the extent of where the shallow water ends and begins, and then the river begins. So if you wanted to move up to here, you could do so without much of an issue. But if you wanted to actually get into the water around here, that would be a different thing. So put yourself where you would like to be, and then we can figure out what's next. Okay.
I want to stay towards the shallows where it's safe, but see what's going on.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me.
Well,
12. Okay. It's really difficult to see a lot of what's happening because the water is slamming into these rocks, and it's just making this large spray foam everywhere. But in between the river hitting the rocks and the water just spraying upwards, you start to see just the very beginning of what seems to be some kind of opening. And very quickly you kind of put two and two together, and you now realize also that there is some kind of opening underneath these rocks, where even though you can't see it initially, from far away, but up close the water is actually progressing downward, almost into another waterfall, it seems, underground somewhere.
Is that all I can do for right now?
Yeah, at this point, it would take your whole turn just to investigate that, trying to see through the water and figure all of that out.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, so that's Leah's turn. Okay. Next up is Jarina.
Do I see anything happening right now? Like,
You saw Squall push off. You saw him hovering. He called for help. He seemed to get freaked out by something. Then he dropped into the water and is now being carried by the rapids. That's pretty much what you can see from where you're at.
okay, I want to. Oh, jeez, we're not in the best of places right now. I'm gonna look at Rowan and gonna ask her, how strong do you think you can fight these currents if you were to swim? And that's it.
Rowan shakes his head and says, "Nay!"
And as you are unfamiliar with the secret language of the horses, you don't know what she means. All right. So that is Jarina's turn. It is now the creature's turn. Currently, Squall doesn't seem to be much of a threat to them at the moment. But did see Leah and Galen when he popped up, and begins to make their way this way. And as it gets closer to you, Leah, it begins pawing at the ground and just and is just growling and just making, like, splashing water up and pawing at the ground, and it's just being, and it actually begins to, like, rise on its hind legs. But it doesn't seem to get any closer to you. The other one actually moves this way. As it now sees all of this going on, it stops drinking the water, and then rather than getting closer, it seems to move further back. And that is going to be their turn. Which leaves now it's up to Squall. So here's your turn now. You are you are in the water. The rapids are hitting you. You are moving fast. What would you like to do?
Make a second attempt, as I don't know what other option I have.
Okay. There's going to be another wisdom check to attempt to concentrate while all of this is happening.
15?
15 is enough. So where do you want your echo to appear?
I am going to, because again, like, I'm assuming my visibility is now minimized by being swept away, I can safely visualize at least the 15 feet towards solid ground. So I'm just 15 feet ahead is kind of what I'm focused on.
Right. Okay. So 15 feet ahead of you. So oop, it appears there.
And
Now, it's an action or bonus action to summon it.
it's a bonus action to summon it.
Right. And to swap is
It's
also
also a
a
bonus
bonus
action.
Right. So you cast it. It is now there. That's your bonus action. What would you like to do as your action?
Try to fight the current
Okay.
by like paddling as hard as I can.
Okay. Make an athletics check for me, please.
18.
18. Easy enough. As you make your way, it is essentially considered difficult terrain because it is wild rapids, and you are able to thankfully make your way up onto the shallow area of the bank, and you are currently out of the rapids and seemingly out of danger. But as you had summoned your, you can see your echo standing there. The creature had held its action to attack anything that got within its range, and your echo is now within its range, and it is going to make an attack at your echo, and that is going to be. That is going to be a 14 to hit. Does that hit?
Nope.
All right. So as you climb up and you actually see your echo like staring at you and kind of like waiting for you, as it doesn't see this creature come at it from behind you and just kind of like go at it, and it sees your eyes wide open wide, and it spins and ducks. It like tucks into a roll just as this massive claw just comes where its head where its head was a moment ago, and is now just kind of comes back up to its feet and just kind of looks at you and then looks at the creature, and that's its turn, and that's the creature's turn. Well, it's a reaction turn anyway. But you are currently out of danger.
Okay.
All right, so that's your movement, action, and bonus action. Sora, it is now your turn. What would you like to do? You are on the other side.
I think I'm just gonna yell across, "Hey, can somebody throw me a rope and possibly help me get to where you are?"
And that's it?
I can't really do anything. I'm levitating still.
Okay. Well, I mean, technically there are things that you could do. Levitate allows you to go up and down 20 feet. That's about it. You could push yourself off and try to get across to the rock if you're strong enough.
You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try and push off the rock.
Okay.
Can I suggest something, or is that metagaming?
That's metagaming. Well, I mean, you can make a suggestion as long as you're not like, you know.
Well, it's like a common sense one. Don't you have a staff with you? Can you push off with that?
My magical staff?
Yeah, just push off with it. Like you're rowing a boat.
I mean, yeah, I would kind of figure, so sure.
Okay. So what would you like to do, Sora?
Gonna try and push off.
Okay. Make an athletic checks for me, please.
5.
Okay, so Sora, you push off of the rock with your staff, and as you do, your staff hits a very very slippery part of the rock, um, and you are unable to actually get that force that you need, and you are now floating, um, in the middle of this area right here, above the water. Um, and at the moment, okay, you're not across, but at least you're not in the water. So you're feeling okay. Now I got to figure out what's next. What do I do next? Um, yeah. If you have a bonus action, you can do that. You can take that now, but otherwise, is that your turn?
I was just checking something. Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. All right. Next up is Rowan. Rowan, what would you like to do? You are still a horse.
I'm still a horse.
Of course.
Yay!
Of course, of course.
I feel like I gotta save like 3 people and still try to get across at the same time. I think I'm gonna try to jump like Leah did.
You are... All right, you're going to try and jump which way, where...
I think I'm gonna try to jump across to where the closest part of the stream is.
South of
The
you
close part
or north of
The
you?
clo- to where the owl, to where the creatures are.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay.
So you're going to attempt to jump. I need you to make an athletics check using the horse's strength.
Okay. $15.
15. Yeah, you kind of like Jarina, you watch as Rowan on this very, very small, tiny outcropping of rock tries to she circles once, twice, 3 times, and then out of nowhere begins this very, very quick gallop and then jumps and leaps. And you watch as the horse jumps and makes it right there. And as you land in the water, you do take 1 bludgeoning damage. As this area of the water is very very shallow, you were unprepared for that, and you just hit the bank. But now you are out of the rapids. You're not no longer on the rock, but you are still a horse, and you have, I believe it's 15 more feet of movement. Your speed is 30, right?
My speed is 40.
Oh, as a horse. Okay, so yeah, you have 25 more feet of movement.
I'm going to gallop towards where Leah is.
All right, so you start to make your way towards Leah. That is actually... You won't be able to get to her because of your size as a horse. You are considered large, which is about the same size as these creatures. So you wouldn't be able to get to her because you would actually be fitting in her space, which you can't do. But that's about as close as you can get.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. All right. And last but not least is Phoebe. Phoebe, what would you like to do?
So I am going to lasso my rope, and I'm gonna throw it towards Sora to pull her in so she can land safely on the rocks.
Okay. This would be an acrobatics check to see how dexterous you can be to kind of pull her in.
Rolled a 19 plus 5 acrobatics is 24.
Easy enough. You're actually, Sora, you watch as Phoebe grabs her rope and just throws it towards you. And you go to catch it, and even before you catch it, you watch as it actually finds the lasso part finds its way onto your staff, and you're able from there to kind of grab the rope. And easy enough. I mean, she's levitating. Phoebe, you're able to pull her in onto the rock with all of you.
I just say thank you so much for not forgetting me.
Okay, so that's your action. If you have a bonus action or movement, you could use that. Use that currently. What would you like to do? Phoebe.
Can I thought you were talking to Sora. Sorry.
No, I was talking to you, Phoebe. What would you like to do? That was your action. You have a bonus action and movement if you care to take it.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So that brings us back to the top of the round, which means our buddy Galen. So Galen, as you are pulled under the rapids, you immediately feel weightless. And you partially come out of the water. And thankfully, you do have pretty strong dark vision. Because there is absolutely no light. But you do see that you are currently falling. You seem to be in another waterfall. And you can see that water is very quickly approaching you. You fall into this water and you immediately take 12 bludgeoning damage as you land in this water. How you doing on health?
I got 4 hit points left.
Okay. So you are now in more rapids. I need you to make a perception check for me at disadvantage.
$10.
Okay, that's actually enough. You can just barely see, with the water splashing in your face, that there does seem to be a shoreline on maybe 10 feet away from you on either side. There seems to be some kind of like rocks or outcropping or land that you can try and get to.
I'm going immediately towards it. No thoughts are going through my head, just going straight there.
Okay, I need you to make an athletics check as this water is rushing just as hard as the water you just left. So
17. Holy shit.
Yeah, 17. All right, without a problem, you just you just start swimming and coughing and the water just splashing in your face, getting in your mouth, and you make it to this shoreline. And yes, as you get onto it, there are rocks just everywhere, and it just seems, as you kind of take a moment to look around, you can see that it is just you are in some kind of underground river passage, and this shoreline is not very wide, but thankfully it's wide enough for you to kind of climb up onto it and be out of the water. and out of the danger of that. So yeah, that is your action and your movement. Unless there's a bonus action you'd like to take.
I don't see any healing items. I guess I guess
That's
I'm
it,
just
right?
gonna lie down on the shoreline and
Okay.
just catch my breath.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Alrighty. Next up is Leah.
I can see where Galen went, right?
Barely. The water is. You can see that there is an opening, but you don't see Galen. You don't see anything like the contrast between the light outside and the darkness that's in there. You would actually have to be down there to actually be able to see anything. There's too much water. There's too much foam for you to actually get a very clear visual of what's going on. You suspect that that's probably where he went though.
And I can still see everybody else too.
You can absolutely see Squall. You can see his echo, the horse, the horse that is Rowan, and you can just make out the rest of your party on this rock, the outcropping of rock in the middle of the rapids. But their forms are obscured somewhat by the foam and the water as well. But you can generally see them.
Can I yell to Squall that Galen fell down here and we have to go after him?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Is there anything else you want to do?
I don't want to leave without making sure that they know where we're going.
Okay.
So, I guess I'm going to go over to Squall and see if I can help the rest of the party get across the water.
Okay. All right. So you move over to Squall. And is there anything that you want to prepare or anything that you want to try and do to get to help them get across?
Well, I have my rope, and I'm going to start tying the rope down to something secure. This way, in case they get stuck in the tide, we can at least come out and get them without drifting away.
Okay. There are some trees that are along broken trees along the shore here. They are while they do seem to be uprooted, they are rather large and thick. So that might be an option for you.
I'd like to do that, please.
Okay. All right. So you begin tying off your rope to one of these fallen trees there to help folks out. Which one do you want to? There's this one over here. There's this one in the middle, and then there's a smaller one all the way at the other edge.
I think the one where I'm standing looks closest to the rock they're standing on, and I want to make sure it's good and sturdy, that it's not going to pull away under their weight.
Okay. All right. So you begin that process. No problem. Alrighty. Dash will leave next. Jarina.
Can I move closer to where Phoebe is?
Yeah, absolutely. You move over by Phoebe.
Okay, I'm gonna do something new. I am going to do enhance ability on myself.
Which one are you doing?
It's going to be Cat's Grace for dexterity.
Okay. Yeah, so while you are standing there at this rock on the rock and you're seeing all of these things happening and you realize there's no way I can do this. I have to be more agile. I need to be more dexterous like a cat. and immediately you watch as your holy symbol begins to glow. And immediately you feel like this rush of warmth through your body, and your muscles feel more taut. You feel more flexible, and you have cast cat's grace upon yourself.
Okay. Because that was an action, I can't actually jump just yet, correct?
You could as part of your movement.
Oh, okay. Then I want to try to jump to the other side to get to everybody.
Okay. So you make an athletics check. Cat's grace though is for dexterity. Yes.
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 Oh, okay. I did. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it
So
was gonna be an acrobatics. Apologies. Yeah.
no,
Let's
that's
do it as
fine.
such.
That's fine. That's what you felt in the moment, and that's what you thought. But now that you're doing this, you realize that I need to be strong to do this. So I need you to roll me an athletics check, please.
That is a 16.
16. Yeah, even though you at the very last moment realize that, I don't have to be, dexterous at all, I just have to be strong. Somehow you do find the strength, and the cat's grace actually seems to help you find your footing a little better on these wet rocks, where you are able to push yourself off with such an ability that you actually do make it to the other side of the shoreline. Um, the cat's grace ability will, I would probably say, yeah, it was a good thing because that you did cast cat's grace, because you will not take damage from hitting the shallow water, as you don't take damage from falling 20 feet or less. So you take no damage, even though you hit the shallow water. You seem to almost anticipate it. And you are no longer on the rock, but you are also no longer in danger of the rushing rapids. And you still have 15 more feet of movement.
Wow, okay, that worked out. I want to move. I want to move as close to Leia and Squall as possible without getting sucked into the water.
Okay, yeah, you're easy enough. You're able to do that along the shore here, and this is about as close as you could get without putting yourself into any kind of danger, but also not sitting in Rowan's space, as she is a rather large horse.
Got it. And I end my turn.
All right. Okay, it is now the creature's turn. This one continues to move further away. This one gets up on its hind legs, making itself larger, seemingly larger. And it begins to back up. Squall, technically, your echo can take an attack of opportunity, which would be your attack of opportunity if you wanted to. That's up to you.
Yeah, I absolutely will.
Okay. So roll for an attack.
That one. 11.
11. That unfortunately does not hit. As large as this creature is, it also seems to be very quick. And as your echo swipes at it with its sword, it does. You watch as a piece of the feather fur, if you will, gets sliced off slightly, but it actually doesn't make contact with the rest of the creature. And the creature, as it's backing off, just it just begins to growl, stand on its hind legs, and continues to kick up dirt and water, and continues to just kind of like make a large display, being very, very aggressive. All right, so that is their turn. That's what they're going to do. And Squall, it is now your turn.
Okay. Uh,
So you heard Leah. Leah told you, Galen is down the hole down here. He got sucked under. Right? You heard her say that. You see her tying off a rope onto the tree. You now see Jarina. You see Rowan. The rest of the group, you're unsure what's going on. They still seem to be on the rocks.
Um. I don't know how. Okay, so being that I also got swept away at about 15 feet in like a few seconds, it's been like a few more seconds than I would suspect is comfortable for anyone. So that is definitely like he's got to be like what, 40, 50, 60 feet now out from where
You're not sure. You're not sure what's under the rocks. You don't know where it goes, how what it looks like. You're unsure.
Okay, I'm trying to make an educated guess to whether or not I can. Okay, I'm rather defeating the thought that it would be wise for me to send my echo after him, based on how I felt in the water.
Okay.
So knowing that I see this big thing in front of me, I'm gonna do what any good soldier does best. I'm gonna send my Echo Knight out to strike this beast as hard as it can with a flourish of blows from me and my Echo.
Okay. All right. So you send your echo up to the creature, and you can now roll for attacks.
Okay, so I'm going to do my first attack here. And is 7.
This creature just backs out of the way, and is continuing to like growl and makes and basically, just brandish its claws at your echo, seemingly getting ready to attack it. You have another attack.
I'm going to attempt a follow-up swing through the Echo's position as well.
Okay.
13?
13 just hits.
Sweet. Fucking hell. 3 damage.
All right. So
Looking good.
Yeah, you watch as your echo finally makes contact with the creature. The blade goes into the creature and then stops. And then, normally, when your echo, or you actually makes an attack, usually the sword continues its path, or you're able to pull it back without issue. And you watch as your Echo Knight struggles to yank the sword out of this creature, and then finally pulls it out. And then the creature just kind of looks down at where it was hit, and then looks up at your echo, and just seemingly like it took the damage, but was not impressed with it. And your echo actually turns around and looks at you like, "What do I do now?" And is there anything else you want to do? I believe that was your action and bonus action.
I'm gonna I'm just gonna shrug, looking at my echo, and that's it.
Okay. All right. So that is your turn, Squall. Sora, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
I asked Phoebe if she can get an arrow into that tree that's still on the bank over there, on the far bank.
Okay. Anything
Can you
else?
point it out to me?
Yeah, there's a tree over here. There's also a tree over here.
It's like to the left of. Oh, okay, yeah. If
There's a
she
tree
can get
here, and
if
there's
she
a
can
tree
get an
here.
arrow into that tree among our illustrious party members without hitting anybody.
It should be no problem, I hope.
Okay.
This way I can just kind of pull myself along.
Okay. So that's what you're asking Phoebe to do. That is there anything
Mhm.
that you want to do currently?
Currently, I really can't do anything except maybe tell Cerberus if she want. I'm just trying to think.
All right.
I tell Cerberus, go to Jarena.
Make an animal handling check for me, please.
11.
11. Cerberus looks at the water, looks up to where Jarena is, then looks at you and begins whining.
Kind of figured.
All right. So that's your turn. Rowan, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm Rowan's gonna go over to the rock face over there,
Lori's talking
and
to the
I'm
game.
gonna see if I can look down into the crevasse and see anything.
You're still a horse. You said that's what you. That's okay.
Alright.
All
I'm
right.
still a horse, but I don't. I still have the mind of an elf.
Oh no, I know.
Instead of horse.
I understand. I understand. All right.
So I want to go over and peek and see if I can see where Galen landed. If he's just chunky salsa against some rocks, or if he's down there.
Make a perception check. It's a very high DC.
$11.
11. There's just too much water just hitting against the rocks, causing foam and splash and spray to actually see anything. You can see, now that you know what you're looking for, you can see like there is absolutely an opening where the water is going in, but there's just too much going on for you to actually see anything more than what you can currently. So that was your action.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay a horse.
Okie
As long
dokie.
as as long as he's out, these creatures are around. I'm gonna stay a horse. If they come any closer, I might. Go
Okay.
Wow, shit.
Alrighty. Phoebe, it is now your turn. What would you like to do? Phoebe?
Sorry, something weird's happening.
Yeah, I know. You know, one of your
Okay,
party members just disappeared. Rowan's a horse.
Well, aside from that, I'm talking about computer-wise. I fixed
Okay.
it though.
Okay.
I am going to tie a rope to one of my arrows, and I'm going to shoot it at the tree right here between Leonara and Jarena.
Okay. I will need you. Actually, just you know what? Roll a roll to attack.
$26.
Okay. Without question, you're able to tie off the rope onto your arrow, and then compensate for the extra weight and what have you, and it hits It hits without an issue. And you now have your arrow tied you have a rope tied to your arrow, which is now inside the trunk of this tree. Leah, as you're tying off your rope, you hear a ding, and you watch as there is now an arrow with a rope attached to it right next to you.
Okay.
And so, Phoebe, now you have this rope. What are you going to do with it? It is slowly starting to be pulled into the water.
I hold on to the rope as fast as I can.
Okay. Make an acrobatics check for me to see how quickly you can grab it.
$15.
15? That's enough, yeah. You're able to grab it, and you now have a rope that is attached to the other side of the shore. Alrighty. So next up on the top of the order is Galen. Galen, you are on the shore, catching your breath. I need you to make a perception check for me, please.
Nat 1.
Nat
I'm
one?
just, my eyes are closed. I'm just like
Yeah, you're
catching my
too.
breath.
You kind of
Too tired.
Yeah, you raise your head. You're trying to look around, but you're just so exhausted from this ordeal. You just kind of
And in a lot of pain.
plop back down and just continue to breathe hard and rest. Hopefully, someone will find you, or you'll be able to figure something out fairly soon. All right. Is there anything else that you want to do?
I'd like to at least move away from the water so that I don't get continuously damp from the splashback.
You're able to move slightly away from the water, but right here on the sides of the shore, it's only maybe about 5 feet of space. So you're still going to get a little bit of splash on you, but you're in no danger of actually being pulled in or anything.
Can I get up?
Yeah, you can get up. That'll be half your movement.
Yeah, I get up. And I'm guessing I still don't see anything because of my roll.
Yeah, not with your roll. At this point, you're too exhausted. You could try again next turn, and your next go around.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go into the middle of like the shore, I guess, and just like sit down.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah, there are like it is just like heavy rock. The rock seems to have been carved, probably by the water over time. But it is, it's not exactly comfortable. It wasn't actually, made for people, but yeah, you're able to find a spot there and just kind of sit there and take in what's going on around you. Alrighty. All right, so next up is Leah. Leah, what would you like to do at this point?
Is everybody secured on the shore yet? I see that Phoebe's still in the water, right?
No, Phoebe and Sora are still on the rocks along with Cerberus. Speaking of which, Maya flies over and lands on Jarina's shoulder. She can fly. But no, what you see, Leah, is Phoebe, Sora, and Cerberus still on the outcropping, but there is now an arrow that is stuck into the tree right next to you, with rope attached to it.
Can I hold my action in case one of them falls in that I could go in and try to get them out?
You can't really hold movement. You could hold a dash action if you want, but you wouldn't actually be able to do much of anything except probably try and get to them, if that's all right.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, so you're holding your dash action in case someone needs your help as they're trying to get across. No problem. Alrighty. It is now Jarina's turn.
Okay. 5, 10, 15. Okay. I want to. Okay. I am going to drop my concentration for enhance ability,
Okay.
and I am going to cast Bane on that creature by Squall's Echo.
Okay. And that is, what is your DC? It's a charisma check, right?
Charisma of 12.
12. All right, and that's going to be a 9. So fails. Okay. So currently that creature is baned. All right, so that is minus a D4 on all attack rolls on that it makes. Okay.
And as a bonus action, I am going to. That's up to 60 feet. I am going to summon my spiritual weapon right next to Squall's Echo as well.
Okay. Alrighty. And what does your spiritual weapon look like, to remind me?
It looks like a shepherd's staff with a wreath around it.
Gotcha. All right. So this token here will now represent your spiritual weapon. And it is now currently next to Squall's Echo.
Alrighty, so I am gonna roll for attack.
All right, go for that.
Does a 20 not nat?
That does hit, yes.
And that is gonna be for 5 damage.
5 damage. All right. Yeah, so your spiritual weapon swings around and just whacks this creature on the top of the head. And you watch as it goes. It seems it's looking around now to Squall's Echo and to this large floating spectral shepherd's staff. And it's like, all right, and that is your turn. You still have some movement if you want to use it.
So is this like a cliff? Do I have to climb it?
No, it's not a cliff. That's just the bank of the shore there.
Okay, so I am just.
So you're still standing in water currently.
Oh, okay. So I am just going to move. No, that's Maya. I'm gonna move here, there.
Okay, and Maya moves along with you. All right. Alrighty, that is your turn. It is now the creature's turn. The creature up here will actually move off into the trees, seeing what's happening, and actually dashes, uses its movement to dash, and disappears into the trees. This creature, seemingly very confused by everything that's happening, will attempt to swipe at the Echo. And that is going to be, let's see, with its claws first. Is now going to be using its full attack. Yeah, I don't think that hits with a 9.
Nope.
Okay. And then its second attack with its beak. And that is going to be a 24 to hit. Which I believe hits. And I believe your Echo only has 1 hit point, correct? All right. So that would mean your Echo disappears. Which seems to further confuse it. As it hits it with its beak, and then it just disappears into a. It just it almost looked like almost shatters into these dark bubbles, and just that kind of just scatters slightly, and then seems to just disappear. The creature goes, and then it will actually. It decides that it is going to. It's going to move this way, away from the group. And that is going to be their turn. Squall, it is now your turn.
I'm gonna take a few steps forward and perhaps stand at the ready, ready for it to come within melee range, but I'm not looking to chase that thing down.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my action. I'm going to advance, kind of still in a ready state, but that's it.
Gotcha. Okay. Point of order, though. The creature is baned, and I did not roll the bane, so I'm going to do that real quick. Would a 20 still hit? Would it?
Wait.
Would it?
So, will a 20 hit? Yes.
Okay. All right. So same result. Same result. I just didn't roll the bane, from Jarina's spell, so I had to roll a d4 to subtract the attack. So it was 4 on the d4. So from 24 it went down to 20, but it would have still hit anyway. So I just wanted to make sure. I was like, I realized that I didn't do that, and I wanted to be upfront about it. So,
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so that is Squall's turn. Sora, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
I am going to grasp the rope that Phoebe is still holding and pull myself across.
Okay.
And I tell Cerberus to follow me if she can.
Make an animal handling check again, please.
It's 12.
12? Okay. So you kneel down. Well, you don't kneel because you're still floating. You kind of bend down a little bit, bend over, and start trying to explain to Cerberus in the best way that you can, what she needs to do to follow you over. You grab the rope, and easily enough, as you are levitating, you are able to pull yourself over to where Leah is. However, Cerberus begins to... she grasps the rope in her mouth, in her jaws, and she begins to make her way over. I need you to roll an athletics check for Cerberus.
Okay, that means poor Phoebe is left standing there.
Come down and join us, Cerberus.
Nat 1. Wait, was that? No, you said athletics, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Nat 1.
Okay. So Cerberus gets into the water with the rope in her jaws and immediately starts whimpering, and without you there, Sora seems to start to freak out, and releases the rope from her jaws and begins to make her way, caught into the water, into the rapids this way, and she moves 15 feet due to the rapids. And that is Cerberus's turn, and you have movement. You have about 15 more feet of movement. You still have an action.
Okay, I am going to um, cast Levitate on Cerberus.
What is the range on the cast for levitate?
$60.
60 feet. Okay, easy enough. So even before, as she begins to freak out, and begins to release the rope and starts moving, you cast levitate, dropping the spell on yourself because it is a concentration spell. And she immediately begins levitating above the water. She seems even more freaked out, but at least she is not in danger at the moment.
And does she still have the rope in her mouth?
No, she released it. That's how she got caught.
Shit. Yeah.
That's how
Okay.
she got caught in water.
All right. We'll figure this out.
Okay. So, yeah. So that's what's happening. And this whole time, Phoebe, you're just kind of standing there, holding the rope, watching this happen. All right. So that is your turn, Sora. Alrighty. So next up is Rowan.
Rowan's not really sure where she's needed the most.
Okay.
um, she can't see Galen. She's still a horse. I guess she's just gonna wild shape back into an elf
Okay.
and take out the rope out of her pack.
All right. Easy enough. You wild shape back into yourself. Begin to take your rope out of the pack. Is there anything else you want to do?
She's starting to formulate a plan. Once everyone gets across, we can tie all of our ropes together and send them down into the hole. And maybe someone can go down and try to find Galen.
Okay. Alrighty. So that is Rowan's turn. And now it is Phoebe's turn. Phoebe, what would you like to do?
Sora said she was holding the rope, or did she just leave it on the trunk? I forget.
No,
You're holding the rope.
You are holding the rope. The other side is tied to an arrow that is embedded into the trunk of the tree.
Is there any part of the small island of rocks where I could leverage the rope in between and tie it off so I can get across?
Make an investigation check.
Rolled a 14 plus 2, 16.
Okay, yeah, you do find. I mean, most of the rocks here are very smoothed over due to all of the water rushing over it. But you are able to find in between a number of these outcroppings enough of an area that you're able to tie off the rope if you want to. So you go ahead and you tie that off. Now, what would you like to do?
Articulating words is hard. Um, I'm going to hold on to the rope and try to get across as fast as I can.
Okay. As you're moving across the river, you do see floating above the water right near you is Cerberus, kind of whimpering, floating in the air. Are you going to do anything about that, or are you just going to go right by her?
I have an idea for my next turn, but I can't do anything if I'm in the middle of a rushing river.
Okay. So you tie off the rope and you make your way to the other side, and you are able to get to here without issue. And now almost the majority of your party is together on the other side of this river. And that is where we are going to take our break. All right, so we will be back momentarily as we stretch our legs and do all the things that you need to do on a break. We'll be back, fairly quickly. We're not going to take too long, as we did have those technical issues when we started, but we do need to take a break. So thanks for sticking with us for as long as you have already, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, everybody, we're back. Welcome back. So we are going to continue this trek across this river and see how things turn out. Alrighty, so all right, so let me just make the map a little bit bigger. Everybody can see now that everyone's mostly across. It does that. Okay. All right. So currently we have a floating dire wolf hovering about 20 feet above the water. It's not spooky or scary at all. We also have this large creature who seems to be making their way away from the group. And additionally, a no longer to be found anywhere Galen. But everybody else seems to be across the river without any issues.
I didn't fall. I just rolled high on stealth. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So with all of that out of the way, we begin at the top of the round. Galen.
I'm going to start looking around my surroundings and hope I roll high enough for that.
Okay. Make another perception check for me. DC is going to be a little higher since you failed it earlier.
18.
18. Okay, that's actually good enough. You start to kind of look around where you're at. The actual waterfall. You start to look up and you can see that it seems to be about maybe 25 to 30 feet high. You can actually see the slit, like the light of the slit of where the water is actually passing through the opening of the rocks. You start to look a little further down, and you can see that this underground river that this water now feeds into actually seems to progress further than your dark vision. You start to walk a few feet down, and you can also see that the water starts to calm maybe about 30 or 40 feet further down from where you're standing, and is not as turbulent, but is just now running at a steady pace. But currently where you're standing, the only way in or out of this area seems to either be the way you came in or progressing further down where this underground river goes. You're not sure what where it does lead.
Hold on, let me look at something real quick.
Okay.
This shouldn't take too long. Damn it. Okay, never mind. I was gonna turn on dancing lights and move it as far as I can, but the farthest I can move it to is literally where my sight ends. So
Okay. I mean, you can still. I mean, it's pitch black in here, so you can still have them on, and just have them around you, just to give yourself some light.
Seeing how I don't know if there's like subterranean creatures. I mean, I've heard horror stories from my people, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
So
you keep them off. That's fine.
Yes, so I'm gonna walk maybe like 40 feet ahead, and just see what I can, if I can see any like difference, any sort of openings or whatever.
Okay. You continue to make your way 40 feet down, and you start to realize that not only does the river progress, that there is actually it's starting to move further and further downward. Not at a steep incline, but it is at a steady, slowly starting to continue to move down. But the 40 feet of movement that you take shows you that, and that is all your movement. And unless there's anything else that you'd like to do.
I don't think there really is anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's your turn. Up next is Leah.
I'm gonna ask Sora. Sora, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sora, do you need help getting Cerberus back across?
Yeah, I have to concentrate on this spell to keep her above water. And where's Galen?
Galen fell down the hole over there, and I'm not sure where he went. So that's one thing at a
Nice.
time.
Galen, fall down the
All right.
hole.
Yeah, get out of my head.
I have my rope attached to the tree, right?
Yeah, your rope is attached to the tree, and um, there's still a rope attached to the arrow, which is still taut across to the outcropping that they were all on before.
Okay. Sora, I'm gonna try to go and get Cerberus back. Do you think you can call her and tell her to trust me?
I will do my best. Unfortunately, I don't think I can do that yet.
Yeah, it's not your turn yet. You'll be able to do that on your turn.
Okay.
So
So
what are you doing now, Leah?
I would like to tie the rope around my waist.
Well, there's a rope. Like you can see a rope attached. Like you can actually kind of move yourself along through the water on the rope. You just saw Phoebe do that.
Yeah, I'd like to have a backup rope though, because
Gotcha.
the ropes are tricksy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tie the rope around my waist that's tied to the tree
Okay.
and try to head out towards Cerberus to get her to come back.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go out there and try to pull her back because she's levitating.
Gotcha. All right. Make an athletics check for me, please.
'21, not natural.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. You're able to start making your way across the rope, and I'm going to just put this here to kind of represent the rope. And yeah, so yeah, you start to make your way. You get over to where Cerberus is. She's floating about 20 feet above the water. So she's a little bit out of your reach at the moment, but Sarah, when it comes around to your turn, you would be able to start to lower her enough to where Leah could probably grab her. All right.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Next up is Jarina. Jarina, what would you like to do?
I am going to move 5 feet forward, and I'm going to, as a bonus action, I am going to move my spiritual weapon right over here.
All right.
And I'm gonna roll to attack. Nine doesn't hit, correct?
No, it does not. So as you have your spiritual weapon go to attack, it actually it does make connection, but with the creature's actual claws, as it seems to almost catch it and then push it out of the way. And it does not actually do any damage.
Alrighty. Then I am going to I'm gonna cast False Life on myself.
Okay. All right. You cast False Life on yourself.
And that gives me 7 extra temporary hit points.
Okay. Is that all it does?
Bolstering yourself, you gain, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. No worries. Alright, so that is your turn. It is now the creature's turn. Creature will make a swipe at your spiritual weapon. It just goes right through. It's now. And it will continue to make its way up this way, and it goes off of the map. You no longer see it.
What was in the water?
Alrighty. So that is the creature's turn. Unless the rest of you wish to continue making attacking the creature. Currently, you seem to be out of harm's way when it comes to at least the creatures. But we will continue initiative until it seems that most of your party members are no longer in danger of the river. So at this point in time, it will be Squall's turn. Squall, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I don't. I guess I'm at this point. I'm gonna start. I guess helping. Let's see what I'm looking at here. It's hard for me. Hmm. I'm not sure how I can be of help right now, so I'm going to. I'm just gonna stand by, at the ready of anybody who requests my assistance. Yeah, I'm not sure how else I can be helpful right now.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So moving on from Squall, Sara, it is now your turn. What would you like to do? Sara?
Sorry, I was paying attention to the dog who is. I want pets, and your hand is not allowed to be on the mouse. I'm gonna tell Cerberus to trust Leah, that she will get her out of there.
Okay, make an animal handling check for me, please.
Yes, honey.
That's DM honey to you.
Yes, dude master.
All right, that's different.
So what'd you get?
12.
12? 12's enough.
Okay.
You kind of yell out to her, "Trust Leah, it's okay, it's okay." You also see that Cerberus is a little too high.
Yeah, I lower her down.
All right, so you
to just within reach of Leah, where Leah can grab her safely.
Okay. So Leah, you watch as Cerberus begins to start to get lowered, but still is just hovering just above the water. And as you go to grab her, she does allow you to grab onto her paw, and you start to begin your journey back towards the shore with her. Okay, so that was Sora's turn. Rowan, is there anything that you would like to do, as it is now your turn?
Yeah. Squall, I request your assistance.
Okay. How can I help?
Do you have extra rope?
Do I have extra rope? I do happen to have a length of rope on me.
Okay, can we tie ours together?
Oh, okay.
Okay, fancy.
All right.
Okay.
You
So
begin.
yeah.
You begin to start that process of tying those ropes together. For the sake of expedience, at this point in time, Leah is able to pull Cerberus back across the rope without any issue. You are all now, for most of you, are all safe. and across the river on the other side of the riverbank. And at this point in time, there doesn't seem to be an immediate threat to any of you. So we are currently out of initiative. What would you all like to do now? As you are missing one person of your group, Galen, who you are, at this point, most of you now are aware, has been pulled under the water into this opening that actually seems to exist by these rocks.
Galen got flushed.
Mm. There's no time to laugh now. Did we see how far he might have gone downstream?
He went down this hole here, you see? This is where the waterfall goes. And it's very dark down there. I can't see a thing.
A hole. I'm gonna try to further investigate it as safely as possible. Like to try to get a decent look to see if I can, I don't know, scope it out. Something, see what happens. See if
All
I
right.
see anything.
Yeah, no problem. Make an investigation check for me, Skull.
Okay. Where are you? Here. How much strong is it? 10.
10. It's really hard to see. The water is just coming and hitting these rocks, spraying the water up. You can see that there is an opening. You can see that there is a hole, but it's really difficult to see anything else other than that.
Do I see heads maybe blocking like the shadows? Because you said that there was some light.
You started walking about 40 feet away from where you came in, so currently you are not actually looking in that direction, so you would not see anything as of this moment.
I think I'll probably start walking back.
Okay.
Just in case, and like waiting to see if they'll rescue me or just leave me for dead. So.
Okay. All right.
How long does all of our rope make? Mine and Squall's.
All right. Well, that's a good question. I need to know how many of you are actually tying your ropes together, and what are the lengths of those ropes.
Considering that I think Server has dropped mine in the water, I don't have any rope.
Yeah,
We can tie the wet rope that was tied around the tree to our lengths of rope, so that would be 3 lengths.
and how much is each length of those ropes?
I'm looking in my inventory now. Hold on a sec.
My rope is 50 feet.
I think they're all 50 feet. I think that's what we basically go adventuring with. So that would be 150 feet. I think that's long enough to start a descent.
Okay. Who's taking the first plunge?
I have an idea. Before we risk anything, why don't I send my echo ahead? I know it can't go far, but it might give me a level of idea.
Hey, Squall, I have an idea too. I pick up a stick and I cast light on it, and I say, give this to your echo so he can see.
Okay, so I'm gonna manifest echo. Okay, I'm gonna get as closest to the opening as possible, because I know that I can only be about 30 feet away from my echo before poof.
Okay.
But in this time, I'm gonna hoist down the echo, give the echo the. I'm assuming I'm gonna need some help to hoist down the echo. Actually, does the echo? How much does the echo weigh?
You're not sure.
Does it? Okay. I guess in the meantime, I'm gonna like size my echoed self up a little bit and kind of like see if like I can like hoist them. Like, how does that feel? And I do know that I can see through my echo for a duration of time in the span of it still being there. So I'm gonna hope to get some level of sight while hoisting the echo down
Well,
before poof.
you don't have to hoist him. He can just climb down if I'll tie our ropes to the rope that is tied to the tree.
Okay,
Squall, quick question. What is your Constitution modifier?
that would be a +5.
All right, excellent.
Oh wait, yeah, that's my yes, the saving throw.
No,
the just the
your
sorry
modifier.
+3.
+3. Okay. That is how many times you can actually summon your Echo Knight between short rests.
Okay.
Long rest, I'm sorry. Just for future reference moving forward.
Okay. Heard.
All right. All right.
Still
So
doing it.
Yep. No, I'm just no worries. All right. So
Yeah.
you start to you kind of try to size him up. You even go up to him and you kind of like grab him around the waist to kind of lift him up to kind of get an idea. He's about your weight. He's
Okay.
not light. He looks insubstantial. Like you can still see through him. But he's there. Like he has weight. He has depth. This is actually one of the first times that you're actually, like figuring these things out. So it's a little strange, a little disconcerting. But yeah, no, while he's there, he seems to be an actual physical presence. You hand him the stick with the light on it. And what do you instruct him to do?
To try to search, to just pan around, and I'm trying to look to see if I can see if there's like just a blatant opening, like if it's a chasm or something, so that we could safely, I guess, go on a mission to retrieve or join Galen. I know I only have about 30 feet between me and my Echo to see how safe this expedition can be.
Gotcha. All right. So all right. So he kind of like you actually you begin to speak these things, and as you do, it's just kind of nodding and kind of staring at you. And when you're finished, it looks down like it goes over to the water, and you watch as it just dives into the water. And who else besides Squall is kind of standing by that area trying to see? Because there's only a limited room. So definitely Rowan. And
definitely need help with the rope.
Yeah, and Leah. Now did you instruct him to take the rope with him? Squall?
Sorry, say it again?
As far as I remember, your instructions were to go in there, check things out. You did not instruct him to grab the rope.
I wanted to hoist him on the rope. So
okay.
So like
Okay.
I wanted him to have it. I don't know if it was reasonable to have him tied to the rope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So what happens is as he goes in, he grabs the rope. You see him tie it around his wrist and then hold it in his hand, and then he dives into the water.
Okay.
As he dives into the water, you all watch as the rope starts to get taut very, very quickly. Galen, at this point in time, as you're turning around and starting to walk back towards the way you came in, all of a sudden you see what looks like this bright light in the water behind the waterfall, and it's slowly starting to descend, like in the water. And it's just odd, and you start to walk a little closer. You start to get closer to look at it, and you can see what looks like the shadow of a humanoid. But you still can't make out who it is. But you can definitely see this very, very bright light. And the rest of you are just kind of holding the rope, trying to hold on to it. I need Squall, Rowan, and Leah to make athletics checks for me, please.
As sort of a response, assuming that this is probably my group, I'm going to snap a single ball of dancing light in the vain hopes that they might see it.
Okay.
But I'm just going to have it towards where I am and have it follow me as I walk towards the glowing shadow.
Okay. Sounds good. Rowan, what did you get?
I rolled a nat 20.
For a total of...
I'm not sure.
All right. Squall, what'd you get?
20. Nat 20.
Oh, for a total of...
24.
24. Okay. Leah?
18 plus 7 is 25.
Okay. All right.
It's just a 20.
Just a 20? Okay. All right. Easy enough. I mean, between the three of you, you all have a very good grip on the rope. You've actually dug your feet into the rocks. I mean, again, you are standing in about ankle-deep water at this point. But you're able to find very good footholds, kind of like digging your feet into rocks and into some of the dirt and rocks within the water, and you're able to hold. So it's not terrible. Like fairly easy. You're able to hold it taut, and you can feel as the echo is actually starting to kind of every now and then just slowly move down, and it just gets taut, just gets taut. And Galen, you're walking towards this light. You put your dancing light on, and just as the light gets towards the bottom of the waterfall, you watch as the light actually kind of tumbles into the water and begins to progress down the actual rest of the underground river. Squall, you feel your connection with your Echo Knight vanish, and you would know that this probably means he was more than 30 feet away from you at this point. But the three of you can actually see that the light that Rowan cast on the stick is now progressing down what looks like very quickly, just moving away. You're not sure why it's moving away so quickly. You can probably surmise that it's probably more water underneath there. But you watch as it is moving and is very quickly out of sight. And Galen, you no longer see a humanoid. You're just watching as this light just passes right by you very quickly and quickly disappears further downstream.
Yeah, that's normal.
Okay.
Nah.
Galen, make a perception check for me, please.
Sure. 23.
23. So as you're walking closer and you're just like watching that light just go by you, and you're just kind of like shaking your head like, okay. You turn back and you're still making your way towards this small waterfall, and you just get, what is that? And you look and you can see that there's this rope just in the water, just flat, just waving around wildly as the waters go, but it's just there. To actually get to it, you would have to jump into the water. But what would you like to do?
No. I'm just gonna have the dancing light I already have and just push it out into the opening.
And you said the range on that is what, 60 feet?
120.
On dancing lights?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so as Squall, Rowan, and Phoebe and Leah, you're actually holding the rope, and you feel it get slack. And then you see the light disappear. About a moment later, as you're just kind of standing there trying to figure out what to do next, you watch as this globule of light begins to just kind of push its way through the water, and then just hover like right above the opening where you are all standing.
Isn't that Galen's dancing light?
I don't suppose I heard Rowan.
You can't hear anything other than rushing water down here, Galen.
Yeah.
Rowan, Leah, and Squall, make a perception check for me, please. With disadvantage.
Wasn't it?
What was that? What did you get, Squall?
I got an 8.
8, okay. Rowan?
16.
16. Leah?
5 and 6 is 11.
11, okay. Rowan, you are able to actually just barely make out the silhouette of Galen. Just, he seems to be kind of standing off to the side. But it's intermittent. Like you don't have like consistent eyes on him. It's just every now and then the water does subside enough for you to kind of catch a glimpse of him, but you can absolutely see him down. He looks like he's probably maybe anywhere between 30 to 40 feet down, maybe a little further. You're not sure.
Hey guys, I see him. Who's the strongest of us?
I want to say Cerberus
I can
would
try.
help.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you guys. What was that?
Sorry, it was at the same time. I want to say Cerberus would help, but I think that's up to her.
Is she gonna is she gonna send down the rope, grab Galen, and bring him back?
No, I was thinking more about pulling him up.
Okay, I was thinking of someone, descending, helping him onto the rope and going back up.
All right. While all this is going on, Galen, that rope is still there, and you can actually now see as you send that light up. You actually can see at least a figure of somebody. You can't make out who it is, but you can see the figure of someone standing fairly close to that entrance, and it seems to coincide with that rope that is in the waterfall.
I don't make a big wave. I just wave casually.
Okay. Rowan, you're the only one that sees it.
He wants a casual rescue, guys.
I look back. Do I see anything behind me? Or is it still empty?
Make a perception check.
$18.
18. You turn to look, and you can see, you can still see the rapids going. The light is completely gone. You don't see where the light is anymore. But you swear that there are 2 stalactites that weren't there before. Just hanging from the top.
Waving intensifies.
Yeah, Rowan, you just watch Galen as he just waves faster, like he's really happy to see you.
Guys, he's thrilled that we're here. Who wants to go down and get him? I'll go.
To me.
Okay.
Tie the rope to your waist when you get to him. I'll see if us lot can pull you all up.
All right. Leah, what is your Constitution modifier?
Where's the modifier? I see the savings throw.
It's the plus number underneath your actual constitution.
+2.
+2. Okay. So for future reference and for everybody here, when you have to hold your breath for any reason, your constitution modifier determines how long you can do that before you start not breathing anymore. So Leah, you can hold your breath for 2 minutes before you actually start to drown.
Okay.
Are the stalactites getting closer?
Make a perception check. Are you still staring at them, or are you looking up at the entrance?
I'm staring at them because again, I'm sure I have heard the horror stories of the Underdark.
You've heard some things, you know. What's your perception check?
Oh, hold on. 18 again.
18? They still seem to be in the same place. Maybe it's a trick of the light, you're not sure.
I'm gonna keep my eye on them, but I'm gonna like stop waving frantically and probably go stealth.
Okay. Roll a stealth check for me, please.
Seems like whatever luck I had earlier is gone now. For now, 22.
22. Okay. Yeah, you're able to get behind some rocks, and you douse the rest of your dancing lights, and you feel pretty well hidden. Rowan, Galen disappears.
What the hell? I'm sure he's still down there.
Okay, so you're tying Leah up to this rope, and Leah is going to start making her way into this area. Who is holding the rope? Phoebe, anyone else?
I'm still holding.
Are you still holding? Okay, so Squall and Phoebe, I need you to make athletics checks for me, please.
I make another light stick and I hand it to Leah.
Okay. Squall, what'd you get?
That 20, 24 total.
Nice. Phoebe?
Nice roll.
16 total.
16 total? Okay.
It's probably the best roll you had so far.
Alrighty. Yeah, so without issue, you are able to hold that rope. Leah?
Can I just tell them, if I start to pull frantically on the rope, it means there's some kind of danger down there. And that we may need help.
Okay. Easy enough. You start to make your way down, and Squall and Phoebe, you're able to hold the rope taut without an issue. Leah, you start to make your way down. Galen, you actually now can see another bright light starting to come down from this waterfall. It's emanating from within the water. Slowly making your way down, Leah. About 10 feet, 15, 20,
Do the stalactites do anything?
25. Make another perception check, Galen.
Is the DC increasing every time I succeed or no?
You don't know.
Okay. Well, never mind. Alright, 15.
15? You take a look. They seem to be in the same place. Leah, you are, the water is just crushing down on you. It is coming down very, very quickly. I need you to make an athletics check to hold on to this rope.
13 plus 7 is 20.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. You're able to hold onto the rope, and as you get to the about 35-foot mark, you feel your feet touch down on actual solid ground, but still in the water. Um, and you actually realize that there is some space behind this waterfall that you can actually step back into, and you're able to breathe, catch your breath for a moment. Um, and then you begin to slowly make your way through, and the water kind of pushes you, but you're able to kind of ford through. And Galen, you actually see holding a stick and a rope, both in both hands. You watch as Leah begins to emerge from this waterfall, just kind of like pushing her way through the water and fighting it, and just kind of pulling the rope, keeping the rope taut. Squall and Phoebe, need you both to make another athletics check, please. Squall.
9.
9. Phoebe.
19.
19. Okay. Squall, you start to actually lose your grip slightly, but Phoebe is able to kind of hold it together and actually compensate for you until you actually are able to tie it back onto your hand a little more taut and hold it up. And so without issue, you're both able to continue holding this rope. Leah, you emerge from this waterfall. You have this light. You look around. You can see on either side of you, to your left and right, there seems to be some rock ledges, essentially like a shore, if you will, on both sides that are just very, very quickly to about 5 to 10 feet to either side of you. You start to look around. You begin. Which side do you make your way to? Left or the right?
I want to take a look and make sure that there's nothing going to attack me first.
You have to choose a spot first because the water is aggressively pushing you. So you can do that, but you have to choose which way to go first.
All right, I'll choose right first.
Okay. So you make your way to the right. Make a perception check for me.
Seventeen plus 6 is 23.
Okay. You start to look around. You have the light aloft, and you're kind of looking, and you can see Galen on the left side, kind of like hunkering down behind some rocks, kind of peeking around. He's now you can see him just staring right at you. But outside of that, you don't see anything else. You can see the water continuing to progress further downstream, but outside of that, you don't see anything else.
I stand up and I go, and I kind of like have to tell her to kind of come over.
Okay, easy enough, Leah. You make your way to the other side.
Why isn't he coming to me? We're here to get him.
Okay. All right, yeah. So, Galen, you wave her over, and then she kind of looks at you, cocks her head, and she goes, and she starts waving you over. What are you doing, Galen?
I'm going to attempt to try and walk over.
Okay. You jump in the water. You
I
start
don't jump into the water.
to get to her. You have to go across the water.
Okay. All right, fine.
You want to? It's about.
Is Galen afraid of water now?
It's about maybe 15 or 20 feet wide. You can attempt to jump it if you like.
Leah's the cat person, not you.
I'm not. That's why I'm not gonna jump 10 feet. I'm just gonna. All right, I'm gonna try and walk across.
Okay, make an athletics check for me, please.
Yep.
This rushing rapids water. It is very, very strong. You got a 4. Leah, you watch as Galen steps into the water and immediately is just begins to get carried away down the river, this underground river. At about 10 to 15 feet, the rapids slow down a little bit, and you're able to kind of get yourself up and without any kind of issue make your way over to the left side. But it was kind of it's kind of humorous, Leah, watching this. He just kind of walked over and then just immediately disappeared as he was carried away by the river. And then as you look and you're almost like, oh my god, now we get not again. You see about 15 to 20 feet down, you see him actually emerge from the river and kind of like dejected crosses over to your side and starts to make his way over to you.
Let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So, what is the order? How are the two of you getting back up?
Since the rope is tied around my waist, he should climb up before me.
Okay. So you're gonna stand there and basically kind of brace while he climbs up? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Leah, I need you to make an athletics check for me. And Galen, you can start progressing up the rope if you like.
Gladly. I'm sick of this probably underdark.
Okay.
And this goddamn river.
All right. Leah, what did you get?
11 and 7 is 18.
18. Okay. Without question, you kind of like brace yourself against the wall of the side of the shore, the stone shore. And Galen, you begin the long, arduous journey of climbing this rope up a waterfall. It is a pain in the ass, as you would expect. What is your Constitution modifier?
3.
3. Okay, easy enough. You're able to hold your breath as you're making your way up this waterfall. Squall and Phoebe, I need you to make one last athletics check for me, please. As you can now feel that it is growing more and more taut as Galen is climbing up. Squall, what'd you get?
18.
18, Phoebe?
18.
18. Okay, yeah, easy enough. Galen, after about 10 to 15, after about 10 minutes, no, actually not even 10 minutes, I'd say about 4, you're actually starting to lose breath at this point. You break the surface and just, and Squall and Phoebe, you see Galen kind of making his way up the rope as he kind of crawls through the water back onto the shore next to all of you. As this happens, you figure, okay, now's the perfect time to start pulling Leah up. And Leah, you feel them starting to aggressively start to pull you up. As they do, make a perception check for me, please.
+15 6 is 21.
Okay. As they start to pull you up, you allow yourself to go slack. You're no longer having to hold it taut, but you begin to also, help by climbing and moving yourself up. And as you do, you swear just before your face actually goes into the water, you swear just out of the corner of your eye, you saw 2 of the stalactites slowly start to move in your direction. But by the time you actually register it, you're already halfway up the waterfall, and you're just kind of moving up, and eventually you break the surface. Squall and Phoebe pull you in, and you are now all currently on the other side of this river, all together. Some of you more exhausted than others. You have mightily defeated the river. Congratulations.
Yay!
Very
I
good.
would like to
Hell
thank
yeah.
the
And with-
DM.
Go ahead, Jarina. What was that?
I said I would like to thank the DM for allowing us to live across this river.
And with that mighty defeat, we will actually call it there for the evening. As you all now take stock in the spoils of your victory, which is essentially that you are across a river. Classic D&D,
Oof.
folks. This is why I love Dungeons and Dragons.
We're in trouble.
This is amazing. All right, this is amazing. This was a river, ladies and gentlemen. I have seen worse. I have seen 3 sessions of people trying to open a door. This is D&D, folks. Amazing. And I'm glad you are all here to see this.
We don't talk about that campaign.
Alrighty. Okay, so as we close up for the evening, I want to do my quick shout outs to folks. And again, I do want to apologize for starting late. Again, technical issues, technical difficulties will always happen. It is the life and bane of all streamers. So, but thank you for those who stuck with us. A quick few shout outs. Memphis Amity, thank you so much, Memphis, for the raid. We appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Ty Dynamite, thank you for the cheering 100 bits. Appreciate you and your cheer. Sweetums, thank you for following the channel. Mephisto Mars, thank you for the follow as well. We appreciate all of you for your support. Mephisto Mars, thank you. These are some amazing. I love these names. Mephisto Mars, thank you for the follow. Sir Sinful, thank you for the host. I appreciate that, good sir. We appreciate everybody who came out today, who is supporting us by watching and following. We love you so much for all of that support. I can't tell you how much it means for small streamers and for a newer streamer. We definitely appreciate it. Lots of big things coming in the future. Thank you for helping us do those things. All of your support is allowing us to do incredible, amazing things. And it is just, I feel like, I honestly feel very privileged that I'm able to do this, not just for my players and for myself, but for all of you, because that's really what having a platform like this really means, is how can we support each other, how can we lift each other up, and just have a good time doing it as well. So thank you so much. Everything you do, everything that everybody does really means the world to us. I want to also shout out my patrons on Patreon, one of which is actually one of my players, Lady Poopsie. Thank you very much. Southern Twist and Grant Wilson. Once again, your patronage on Patreon will allow us to do a lot more things than we could do without it. So thank you so much for supporting in that way. And for those who are curious, if you are interested in supporting us, but subscribing here on Twitch doesn't seem like something that you want to do, you just want to follow, that's fine. But you are also able to subscribe on Patreon. And through those subscriptions, some of which are actually less expensive than the Twitch option, you might be able to get some exclusive merchandise like stickers and mugs and hoodies and good stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, please visit our Patreon and check that out. But at the very least, thank you for following us. Join our Discord. We also, so we can talk in between streams. That we like to answer questions, talk about cool things as well. So please do that as well. If you've missed any of our streams, you can join. Check out what you've missed on YouTube as well as VODs here on Twitch. Tomorrow I will be streaming every Friday night. We do Friday Night Magic, which is Magic the Gathering Arena. So if you have some time and Magic the Gathering is your bag, please come and join us. I play with not only friends and family, but if you already have Magic the Gathering Arena installed on your computer, I play with people who are watching the stream. And we talk on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We have a great time. So please join us for that if you can. So with that, we're going to end the stream. As we end the stream, I'm going to ask folks to Please hold on and stand by because we are going to do a raid this evening. We're going to raid a very, very good friend and supporter of the stream and everything that we do here, as well as the Shiv Nation community, which Zero, who plays Squall, and Jarina, Lady Poopsie, are founder and co-founders of that community. This is a very, very good friend of that community. He is a huge supporter. This is Two to Your Head. He's currently playing retro games. So if you're into some retro games like Metroid and all that kind of good stuff, that is definitely something that you should show him some love for. So we would appreciate that. All right. So again, thank you so much for supporting us. We love you very much. We love the support that you're giving us. Every time, whatever you give us, we want to give back to you tenfold. So with that, please be good to yourself, be good to others, take care of others, and don't forget to take care of yourself. Until next time.